Hello there, fellow walkers. Here we are again for another session of Zendikar Rising Drafts. As usual, we'll be going thoroughly through all the picks, all the strategy, all the gameplay. I'll try to explain as much as possible what it's going through my mind, and as always, feel free to leave your feedback in the comments. I'll be paying attention to it. If you don't know me, I'm Diogo, or better known in the internet as Diogo Japinto, and I'm on a journey to improve in Magic as well as in life, of course. In my streams, we'll be reviewing several level up articles. Actually, we have one for today, and I'm preparing several others for future weeks, for future sessions. And we'll be focusing on applying those concepts in actual gameplay while playing the game. That's more or less it. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram if you'd like, under that same name, Diogo Japinto. So let's see if we actually reach the 7 wins today or not. Shall we? Okay. So for today, let me just check. Okay, the game is working, thankfully. The fonts are not, no problem. So as usual, we'll start by doing 1 or 2 games with the pre-constructed decks, just to give enough time for people to jump in. And after that, we'll be reviewing an article from Paulo Vitor Damo da Rosa. And after that, we'll jump into at least 1, probably 2 Zendikar Rising drafts. It all depends on how long do we take on it. So again, to give some time for people to join in, let's pick a black-green deck and do some matches just to warm up. Okay, black-green. Why are these showing? Oh, okay, because they are legal here. Okay, black-green. It's a reanimator deck. Sure. Let's jump in. Just checking. Everything is running smoothly. Cool. So, no opponents again. I guess Sundays. There's not many people. Maybe people are actually playing in other formats. Come on. Or tournaments or stuff. Jesus. Where's my frame rate? Okay. We have enough lands. We have some early plays, I guess. At least this one can stall the board for enough time for us to do the rest of the things. Again, I usually play with these decks because this enables me to be exposed to very different strategies and play some. So it's a warm up, of course, but it helps one. Okay, let me just think. Do I need another black mana before that is relevant? I'll probably need to push this to the bottom. Okay, so yeah, I use these decks to gain more intuition into how different deck strategies play, right? And they are actually quite cool. They're not optimized, but that is fine. I've won several games with them. No problem. Card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so this turn there's not much else to think. This has that touch, so I can attack. Demonic Embrace, cool. I still need the additional black mana. Enters the battlefield. Okay, please mill me all the cards, opponent. I have a bag for more ready for you. Okay, Parcel Beast. If it's a land, so this enables them to play at least an additional land per turn. Okay, cool. So I guess no real decisions. I can... cannot really do that. Deathbloom Thallid, I don't want to return that to my hand, do I? So... I should actually just attack first. If I attack, do I have a defender? But they are trying to... They're not interested in defending, so... Come on, opponent. I guess they want to play against stronger decks or something? I don't know. Or faster matches. I take my time. I like to think about my possibilities. So... Let's do another one. Another one. Oh. Berlin Thomas. Okay. Again, similar strategy as last turn. Probably I'll play, depending on what the opponent plays first, I'll play a Skull Prophet. So I'll keep. Control dice, you may exile it. If you do create a token that's a copy of that, except it's a 1/1 and Nightmare in addition to its other types. So I guess that can be useful. As usual, playing the land that I have fewest of in my hand, just to prevent end disruption. Okay, they'll have a wall on their side of the battlefield, so I'll probably... Should I ramp? Probably I should ramp. If I play this on turn 2, I'll be able to play something 4 mana on turn 4. Like this flyer. Okay, that works for me. Let's ramp. And that touch creature is still very valuable down the line. You can still hold their land creatures like the Cleric of Lifespan, right? Okay, now I have decisions to make. I can either go into the Nightmare Shepherd or try to double spell. I'm not able to double spell because of... I don't have... Okay, I can double spell. I want to remove this Cleric of Lifespan as early as possible. So I guess I'll do this and I'll have 3 mana up. 3 mana to play... 3 mana but on only 1 black mana. So I guess... This is suboptimal, but they will start gaining life and I don't want that. I need to do this as soon as possible, unfortunately. I can still get value out of this Order of Midnight. Oh, I could have played my land and not untap with this. Well, it's almost the same. It's a very small punt. They just won life. That guy would be a 3/3 right now, at least. Yeah, a 3/3. It just increases by... It's only the first time it gains life in the turn. Okay, so they destroy my ramp creature. That is not good. Not good at all. What I can do, I can still... drag, destroy target creature. That's not a necessity. I can still play the Order of Midnight as a spell and cast it next turn. Sure. Let us attack. Creature card. I want the Skull Prophet. Skull Prophet is cool. Even though I cannot play it this turn, and I need 2 turns to be able to use it for ramping. It's still a good option. Okay. I guess I can still attack. And after I attack, I can only play the Skull Prophet and that's it. Or the Order of Midnight. But Skull Prophet is more of a priority. If they attack, I'll trade. They can trade it for the Cleric. Right? Yes. That's not good. Sign of the Swarm. So, all the Clerics. I'll let 3 go through. Okay. Now I have an additional black mana. So if I play this, I can still play the Order of Midnight. Yes, they get the other guy. That's not really good for me. It's less than the converted mana cost. So this guy gets a creature with a lesser converted mana cost and the creature that died. So they were trying to see, oh, can I return? What are the conditions for this? Yeah, the conditions are not that good. Oh, at least I rule the skies. I cannot block with this creature, but I can do stuff. I can do a lot of stuff. Let us see. Another Birth of Meletis. Birth of Meletis. Okay. You got a basic land. The third chapter, they gain 2 life. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I've seen plenty. Come on. Sure. Okay, no need on playing my land before combat. They have mana up. I'm not sure if they are planning to do something to my creatures. If so, maybe I should have played the Nightmare Shepherd before, because this guy will give me tokens. So I have 5 mana. 5 mana, 6 mana. 4, 5, 6. I don't want to beg for more anything. I just want to have my stronger creatures on board. Enters the battlefield, mill 2 cards, then you may return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. I still don't have anything really that I want to use there. No need on attacking with Skull Prophet, right? Because it would just bounce in the wall. Okay, they're now thinking where to apply their removal. Nowhere? Okay. Okay, sure. I can use the ability at the end of my turn to mill 2 cards. Cool. That's cool. Another wall. So many walls. Okay, he's far from getting all that life when it enters. Okay, when a creature enters, a cleric in this case. So it's now 4-4. Should I trade with the aura? I guess I should. It won't get them back anything if they attack. Please attack with aura. Please do. It has lifelink. You want to do it, opponent. No, not only that one. Come on. You're the beatdown. Okay. I need to let it through. I guess I can use the back for more. I guess it did all it could, right? Block. Still want to do stuff. Deal 2 cards. Okay, Demonic Embrace. Okay, another defensive creature. Still nothing interesting that I want to get back from the graveyard, unfortunately. As such, this card is good if I'm attacking, because at the end of the end step, I get to draw a card if a creature died in combat. So for this turn, 3 mana is not 4, but I can still do stuff. Can also just play this. It's a 5/4 that I'm happy to trade for their cleric. The thing is, I want this aura to be out. I want it out. They will gain some life, of course. If I do things like this, I can stabilize. Stabilize with the Mire Tritons. Okay, Twin Blade Assassins it is. Let's try. If I trade it in combat, that's good for me. I can use the back for more to have it fight one of their creatures. Okay, after this game we'll get into the article. We'll be reviewing the article. Speaker of the Heavens. Okay. I'll exile my Twin Blade Assassin. That's not good. That way I cannot use back for more on it. I'm pretty much dead now. It's only -2/-2. I don't even have mana for back for more yet. This is sorcery speed. That's no good. This is a 2/3. A permanent card. This can get me a land. Do I have a forest or something? Yes, I do. Let's do that. I can double spell with this card. Getting a land is not really that good, I guess. Oh Jesus. I want to escape that. Actually, getting a land might be good. This way, next turn I can back for more that huge creature. Okay, you attack. Of course, not block with it. your opponent casts, costs 2 more to cast until your next turn. That's a shame. This Beg for More is now too expensive. Forgot about that ability. Well, I typically play limited, so I'm not really used to these standard cards. Okay, what you gonna do, opponent? If you have a bunch of removal spell, yeah, I'm dead. That's fine. But you don't have trample. You have some lifelink, but you cannot really activate Speaker of Heavens yet. Okay, that's a 6/6. Do you want to trade? It's fine by me. Okay. Polukranos. Beg for More is unavailable. Can I use Dead Weight on anything? Not really. Only on Speaker of Heavens. Maybe I should. Or I should just play this. Let us draw a card. Let us double spell this turn. Draw a card, okay. That's an additional land. I'll gain one life. And I'll remove the Speaker of Heavens just to prevent weird stuff from happening on their side. Target creature or planeswalker, so they'll return a creature to the battlefield. That is fine. I guess they have a cleric, they have a scion, probably the scion, of course. This creature can block my flyer, so I cannot really attack with it. Now they are huge. At least I cannot attack with the 5/5 in the air. Yet. I can still Demonic Embrace my Order of Midnight. I guess that's a 4/4. So if I kill it, this trade is profitable. Unless they have something. Because this way, I lose one creature, they lose one, but their creature is much better than mine. They don't have lifelink, nor anything like that. Yeah, they get the Speaker, that is true. This is just 1 mana. Okay, the Speaker will be dead weighted again, or not. Polukranos. 6. So I want to kill the Scion, really. This way I can fight with target creature. Okay, it loses +1/+1 counters, so it will lose 5 counters. Sure. I can still get it back as many times as I want. Okay. They get another creature. That weight, their cleric. Yep, that's the best thing I can do. Next turn I escape Polukranos. 4. So to escape I need to exile 6 cards. I have 16, so I can escape it at least twice right now. They will gain a bunch of life. They will kill my creature. Not really let them do that. Can I? Not really. So next turn, Polucranus will do stuff. I think I've let them get so much value from the aura. Damn. That shouldn't happen, I guess. Not play Demonic Embrace. No attacks this turn. They have profitable blocks. Okay. Oh, of course, Indulging Patrician was missing from the party. It's a vampire noble, it's not a cleric. Yeah, this Speaker of Heavens is killing me now. Even though this Demonic Embrace is quite useful. It's quite useful. Oh, I cannot block with that. That is true. So can I fight something relevant with this? Not really. They will attack with 2 flying creatures. If I fight one of them, that gets me nothing. And I need to pay 3 life. Okay. I lose. Nothing I can do. We fought for a bit, but yeah, their deck is better. And I feel like I've let them get too much value from the aura. Oh, whatever. I'm not doing the mastery stuff. Okay, so it's time to review the article for the week or for the next few weeks. It all depends. I'm not yet following any strict schedule. So yeah, the article that I had to bring today is called 6 Heuristics to Make You a Better Player. It's written by Paulo Vitor Damo da Rosa, which is who is, I believe, the world champion right now, won against a Portuguese player. And this article was made freely available like 2 weeks ago. And it's an article that I like quite a lot because it's one of the things that I most enjoy about Magic is its complexity. It's very complex, so you need to really design strong and sound heuristics to help you navigate through the games, through the drafts, through the tournaments, through your Magic life. And what do I mean by heuristics? Actually, Paulo included a definition here, so it's kind of an approach for problem solving that applies something that is very practical, a practical method that might not be the perfect or the optimal thing to do, but it gets you very far typically. So it's something that takes you quite little cognitive load to employ typically. So it enables you to apply your cognitive load on top of the heuristic. So think about the heuristic gets you like to 80%, and then you just need to think about the remaining 20% of optimization, let's say. This is very useful, and there are several heuristics, not only for Magic, but of course also for life. Again, he says here that, of course, these are starting points for the decisions, not they do not dictate the decision itself. Okay, you need to use your best judgment on top of the heuristics that you accumulate as you get more knowledge on Magic. Why is that? Again, because they're not optimal. So you need to instead of thinking constantly about the small low level decisions, you start thinking at high level, and you start thinking about when you should deviate from the heuristic or not. Okay, that altogether that enables you to preserve cognitive energy and apply it in the best way possible. And actually not draw that many games on tournament level or something like that, because typically you have 1 hour or something to do to finish a match of best of 3 against an opponent. Let's say you're playing standard, that's what you typically have, at least in your local game shop. So without further ado, let's start with the first. There are 6 of them here. It says here that you should first play a land, then attack, then cast a spell. This is a very straightforward heuristic. And by the way, all of these are very specific to Magic. There are other heuristics that we will introduce that are more general, that also apply to your life and so on. For example, this one, let's first understand what it says. Let's disregard the first part for a bit. What's important, the most important thing is you should cast your spells after you attack. And why is that? Because if you cast your spells before you attack, you'll be tapping mana. You'll be giving information about the cards that you have in your hand. So you won't be able to for example, signal that you have a pump spell or some kind of removal to use in combat or something like that. So typically is much better to attack first and then play your cards. There's actually another reason for it. It's not only about minimizing the information that your opponent has before they do a decision, and it's also about maximizing the information that you have before you commit to a decision. After you attack, you are better aware about the priorities of your opponent. Did they block? Did they not? What's the current board state? Did they cast anything during combat to protect themselves? So you get more information after you attack. So you'll have a better idea of what spell to cast, or even if you want to cast anything at all. So this is actually the broad heuristic that is built into this specific one. It's this thing about maximizing the information that you have before you commit to a decision, and minimize the information that your opponent has before they commit to a decision. Okay. Regarding playing a land before attacking, this is not as straightforward as the other one. The other one is typically true. So you should 95% of the times attack before you cast spells, unless you want to, if you by casting your spell before attacking, for example, you're pumping your attacking creature, or you want to signal to your opponent that you're trying to do something, even though you might not be. Okay, so there are some caveats to this heuristic that are relatively easy to see. But regarding playing a land first, so let's say you have 7 cards in your hand, probably you should play a land first, because you're still signaling a lot of options in your hand. So your opponent still needs to be on the back foot. But playing a land like with 2 cards in hand, leaving just 1 card, unless you're signaling something specific, that's not really worth it. But again, why should you actually typically like 60% of the time, 70% of the time play a land before you attack? Because that opens up possibilities, right? You could represent a combat trick, or even a second combat trick if you already had enough lands, or even a different combat trick than you were signaling before. So your opponent needs to be aware if you're threatening a removal or a pump spell or something like that. Yeah, so that's basically it. But you need to weight that against having almost no cards in hand. So if you have 1 card in hand or something like that, the opponent is much safer. It's much more secure that you don't have anything else. And even if you do have the pump spell or the removal, they might want to push it out of your hand, because then you'll be completely out of resources. Conversely, you are less likely to actually play it, because you want to preserve your resources in your hand. Okay, so heuristic number 2. Sideboarded games are much more interactive than game 1. Okay, this really makes sense if you think about why is that. So again, typically, at least in tournament play and in local game stores and most formats, you play the best of 3. You play in a best of 3 matches in a series of them, and but initially you aren't really sure of what you'll face. Okay, it's really hard to prepare your main deck against all the potential strategies and have answers for all of them. So what's the best thing that you can do? You can be proactive. Okay, you can have a plan, a well-defined plan, and your main 60 cards should be really good at that plan, at employing that plan, and you should typically focus on doing that. On games 2 and 3, of course, you already know what's your opponent trying to do, what's its archetype or deck trying to do. Let me just close this. And no, notifications are really boring. Let's just turn off notifications. I don't want to be... No. Come on. No. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Nowhere. Sure. I guess I can turn them off here. Okay, whatever. I'll let them be. Either way, what were we talking about? So game 1 is more proactive. Typically decks are more proactive. Games 2 and 3, you're already aware of what your opponent trying to do, so you can customize with your sideboard responses for your opponent's threats. So that's, of course, your opponent will do the same, so you need to take that into consideration, and we'll see some specificities down the road about this. This is also why best of 1 formats on MTG Arena are typically more focused on proactive strategies. If you have something of a mid-range deck or something like that that is trying to do both a mix of aggro and control, but altogether, the strength of mid-range decks is really on its versatility. So they are very adaptable to what your opponent is trying to do on games 2 and 3. Games 1, they are trying to do the best with the tools that they can, but their strategy is overall a bit diluted altogether among the 2 strengths. So they don't have a strong plan A. They have plan A, B, and C, and then they try to do the best they can on game 1. But on games 2 and 3, they are very, very strong because their deck is quite customizable. Of course, in best of one, if you just play one game, this adaptability means nothing, right? You cannot take advantage of it. So yeah, that's why typically decks on best of one are very focused. Of course, if the metagame, and by metagame I mean what archetypes are being played out there, what kind of decks are competing, if that metagame is quite restricted to one or two decks, that's when probably even control decks or decks like that can adapt themselves to be really interactive from game one. Okay, that happens a lot, and that's also why early when sets are released, since there are so many decks out there being explored, and it's still unknown what deck actually works best on a given set. I'm using standard as the example format here. So in the beginning, control decks are not really favored because there are many strategies that they need to prepare against, to be reactive against, and being reactive against many strategies, that's not a winning proposition. Nonetheless, as the metagame matures and we get into the later months of a set release, you start seeing control decks rising slowly to the top because the rest of the metagame is more concentrated around just a couple of decks. Okay. Getting back to the heuristic here, sideboarded games are much more interactive than game one. We already discussed what's the most important from this. Let's say that, for example, there's an example here of a game. It presents an example here of a game between Gruul Adventures, which Gruul is red, green, and adventures. They have some payoffs from playing adventure creatures, but they are also quite good at attacking. So they're typically focused on an aggro. They have an aggro strategy, at least on game one. Is mostly trying to goldfish game one, of course. So if you see a hand like this, it's really bad because, again, I said you're an aggro and you don't have any creatures. Excuse me. You have no way to put power on the board. This is really a reactive hand, right? This in game one is a definite mulligan. If you on games 2 and 3, they have several different options on the sideboard to board into. For example, these creatures really help. Creatures and Planeswalker really help when the games go long. So it really depends on if it's game one, you're really focused on being aggro, being really a strong aggro deck and trying to win out the game before your opponent has any opportunity to set up their side of the board. After sideboard, of course, you're expecting much more interaction from your opponent, so your default plan won't really work that often. So you need to resort to a more mid-rangey style of deck with after sideboard. Should switch your approach to mulligan as well. Of course, after you sideboard, your deck strategy is also different. So as I said, you might with this Gruul deck you might even want to get into the late game. So even though this hand is not great, it's still a reasonable hand to get you in the late game. You have two reasonably good removal spells. This one is good, but it demands a bit more mana out of you, but still you have 4 lands. This will help you getting into the late game. It's not a good hand, as Paulo mentions, but it does stuff. It does stuff. Then there's a lot of exploration across other decks, but we'll jump right into heuristic number 3. Let me just close that. I don't know why I'm showing that. Heuristic number 3, quantity decks mulligan worse than quality decks. Before we discuss this, what is a quantity deck and what is a quality deck? A quantity deck is, or let's start by the other one because that's also what Paulo does here. Quality deck is typically have a few specific cards that are quite powerful, and the rest of the deck typically try to support it and take advantage of those cards the best that they can. Okay? But the core are those 2, 3, 4 cards for which you can have multiple, of course, but or one card even in some control decks. But you try to support well those really quality cards. Regarding examples of those, well, for example, Azaret the Fervent is a mythic god that has indestructible haste and stuff, and when you discard, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. It cannot attack or block unless you have 1 or fewer cards in hand. So essentially, this is a big bomb, and the rest of the deck is trying to support it. Typically, you want to mulligan more aggressively in order to find those good cards. Okay, that's the motto of this heuristic. Quality decks mulligan better than quantity decks because you're essentially trimming away non-quality cards out of your deck, and your deck is focusing on quality. So if you don't have your good cards on your opening 7 hand, and even and additionally you have even the London mulligan, which enable you to look into a new set of 7 cards each time you mulligan, so that favors even more mulligan when compared to previous mulligan setups. So you're really incentivized to find your good cards, your quality cards. Regarding quantity cards, they're quite different. You're focusing on raw numbers. How many cards are you able to commit to the battlefield, right? One such example is Modern Burn. Modern Burn is a deck that essentially that has a pretty simple thesis behind it, which is each card should do at least 3 damage to your opponent. As such, you only need to play 7 cards to take 20 life points from your opponent. Okay, so they play stuff like lava spikes, lightning bolts, and even the creatures that they play that are creatures typically with haste and prowess, so they can typically do 3 damage in the turn that they get into the board. Okay, they're trying to be aggressive in a weird different way. So it's all about quantity, right? Each card has essentially the same value, which is 3 damage to your opponent's life, and you're trying to amass as many of them. As such, you want to mulligan less often, right? You want to have as many resources available in your hand. Other examples are tribal decks such as Merfolk, which is actually the deck that I play in Modern, and Thalia, and humans. Next, okay, of course, there's also situations in which invariably from the fact that you have either a quality deck or a quantity deck, the matchup will be you'll need to look into your deck as if it was a quantity deck. What do I mean by that? Let's say that your opponent is playing Jund in Modern, which is a deck with a lot of anti-disruption, removal, so they're trying to really delay or prevent you from building an advantage on the board as much as possible. So given that they are stripping away a lot of your resources, you cannot really trust about committing your quality cards to the battlefield, right? You need to turn into the quantity mindset and try to maximize the amount of resources that you have, and probably even try to commit your not as good cards before, so that they take those out as early as possible, or depending on what's the kind of disruption or removal that you're expecting, you might want to play your best cards as early as possible so that they don't and disrupt them away. Okay, so that's an example. It is useful because you don't need to think through the situation every time. Of course, that's the purpose of heuristics, right? As we mentioned before. Heuristic number 4. In a mirror match, the person on the play should stick to their proactive game plan. The person on the draw will be forced to react. Okay, so what does Paulo mean by this? A mirror match is essentially a game where both players are playing the same a variation of the same archetype of deck. Okay, so they typically have the same strategy going into game 1. Okay, the person on the play has typically the advantage because they are one turn ahead, right? One turn ahead from their opponent. So they are the ones that are able to employ Plan A, and unless they stumble a lot, the person on the draw, so playing second, they won't be able to employ their Plan A as often, right? If both players are employing their deck's Plan A, and given that this is a mirror match, the person on the draw, the player on the draw, will always be one step behind. Okay. The person on draw doesn't have that option. So what do they need to resort to? They need to resort to being reactive. They need to ensure that the opponent stumbles at some point, right? They need to disrupt the Plan A from the opponent, and so that you can now jump ahead and altogether improve your chances of winning the game. Okay, so there's an example here, an interesting one, also using the Gruul Adventures deck. As we said previously, this is an aggressive deck, and what he's exemplifying here is, let's say that there's a mirror match among two Gruul Adventures players, and the person on the play will typically disrupt minimally their Plan A just to get some important stuff against the opponent. But look at the card quantity, at how many cards are boarded out and in when on the play and when on the draw, at least according to what Paulo would do or would do in the past when playing this in this situation, or suggest to do. So it's massive, right? It's more than double of the cards out on the draw, because on the draw you really need to ensure that you're disrupting your opponent's Plan A, and you have a better finishing, better late game than your opponent, right? So you're boarding out on the draw your more aggressive creatures. Embercleave. Embercleave is a very good artifact when attacking, right? But you won't be attacking that much. You will be trying to accrue value as the game goes long, and the game with things like Vivian and stuff like that. And on the play, you do minimal changes. You're essentially boarding in some stuff to get to destroy the opponent's Embercleaves. Embercleaves and Great Anges, I believe that they play Great Anges. So yeah, that's essentially it. On the play, we wanted to keep our deck as proactive as possible, of course, as we said previously. On the draw, we were forced to be more reactive, disrupt the opponent, and be better in the late game. Heuristic number 5. Just check. Okay, no comments. Early during a set release, try to maximize the best case scenario. Later on, try to minimize the worst case scenario. Again, this is one of those heuristics that are a specific instantiation of a more generic one, and we'll see what that one is. So focusing on the heuristic itself, what we want to take out of it is really when a set is released, there's a lot of new cards, a lot of new possibilities for deck building, right? What's critical here, and what Paulo is arguing with this heuristic, is that you should prioritize giving an opportunity to the new cards. Okay, so you need to consider their performance in the best case scenario. That is essentially to establish a ceiling to their power, right? You need to ensure, since it's so complex and you have to fight against so many different situations, board game states, and so on. You should have some way to rank strategies from the get-go, right? And so he argues on trying to first try to assess the best case scenario performance for a given strategy, and only then try to fix for its issues, for its worst cases. Because let's say that there's an awesome strategy with a new mythic rare that build around that comes out on the new set, but it's an artifact and there's a lot of artifact 8 going around. If you jump into decision that card isn't good because there's a lot of artifact 8 going around in the meta, you're not really understanding what's its potential, okay? And secondly, you're not even giving a chance to that strategy to play well to play well in its worst case scenarios, right? So what it says here, if the card isn't good enough, even when everything is stacked in its favor, you can dismiss it outright. Okay, so this is the thing. If the ceiling is too low, you can already exclude it. But if you just look into cards from the floor and compare floors for cards, you might be picking the strategy that have a high floor, so it doesn't have too many worst case scenarios, but it also has very little best case scenarios. The gap might be minimal. Okay, so you are looking to play with strategies that have a reasonably high ceiling, floor, I guess, but also have a high ceiling, so the gap should be higher. If it is good enough in the best case scenario, then we should change our perspective and try to make sure that the worst case scenarios aren't as bad. So we try to minimize the worst case scenarios. Try first to increase the ceiling as much as possible, then to raise the floor as much as possible too. Okay? That way you have a better comparison. So this is essentially what he's arguing here. And again, the broader heuristic that or mental model, which is something akin of an heuristic, the mental model that this corresponds to is the exploration exploitation trade-off. This is also common in reinforcement learning, but let's not care really about that. But this is also applicable to everyday life. Let's say that you're picking restaurants in a new city that you moved into. First, you won't likely commit to the first restaurant that you try, right? It might be really good, but you might be missing out on a lot of other possibilities. That it's the same thing even for when you're in high school and you're trying to assess, okay, what college degree or what professional degree or something like that should I enroll into in my future? You should try to assess some possibilities, like explore, and then you start narrowing down and exploit the possibilities that you explored before. Okay. This is a slight, there's a balancing act here, right, between exploration and exploitation, but you should prioritize exploring in the early moments, and then try to exploit the possibilities, the options that you found. Your approach should change, of course. Okay, we already saw this. So heuristic number 6 and last one before our draft. When playing a slower deck versus a deck full of discard your spells and keep your lands. This is a heuristic that I like quite a lot, not because it is not because it's broad, because it's not. It's very specific. You're playing against a slower deck, or you're playing a slower deck against a deck full of discards. So this is very narrow, right? But it's counterintuitive. Okay, these are the situations where your brain, given all the bias that you have, both in print by nature as by nurture, as so by culture, right? This is counterintuitive. And why is this counterintuitive? If I'm playing a slower deck and my opponent is discarding cards of my hand from my hand, well, I want to leave the good cards on my end, right? I want to play them. I don't really care about lands, right? The thing is, you're playing a slower deck, and if you ensure that you do your land drops, you're guaranteed to have a better performance in the late game. You'll draw additional cards. You might not draw excellent cards, but if you don't make your land drops, you're completely doomed with your deck. So it's slightly counterintuitive, this strategy. The correct way to play these matchups is usually just to make your land drops and ensure that you do your land drops, because the thing is, while you're doing your land drops and discarding your good stuff, your opponent is playing discard spells and really typically not committing as much to the board as they could if their strategy was not that. Okay? So that's essentially that's it for today. This article is quite interesting. I'll paste it now on the chat, and I'll be building a spreadsheet with all these articles, the articles that we'll be reviewing for next week's, and at some point we might even throw some polls on what articles should we review for next week's. Cool. So let's get back into our game and close this thing up. Okay, so Premier Draft. I won't play Kaladesh Remastered. I'm not really... Why is this flashing? Do I have a... Oh, I have some prize to claim. Yeah, this wasn't really a good run, I guess. Okay. Premier Draft, Zendikar Rising. Okay, so give me just 1 second to... Okay, let's do it. I had my mic muted. This happens to me a lot. I need to be careful. Okay, table ready. Come on, last player, please. Okay. Damn. Long bathroom time. Okay, so Shadow's Verdict is something kind of a board wipe. So everything with converted mana CMC 3 or less gets wiped out of the board. Out of this pack, there's a Malakir Rebirth. I'm inclined to pick this card from here. There's also other good cards here. Soaring Thought Thief is a very good card in Rogues if it manages to be built. There's also Shepherd of Heroes, which is quite good in most white decks, but white decks are, well, white is not a very strong card Let me close this. So I'm really inclined to play the Malaki Rebirth and leave my options open for the next picks. Or a Shepherd of Heroes. It works well in a lot of situations. Okay, so we have a good card to go with our Shepherd of Heroes. There's Aura. So in pick 10 we can try to see if the rogue wield. But from this pack there's Aura. Let me just check. Okay, Aura, Skyclave Cleric. I would definitely play it. I would be happy on playing that. Bubble Snare is also a very good card. It's the only blue card in the pack, so but still, Aura, you just saw what it did against me during the intro games, right? So it's very, very strong. Subtle Strike, I can pick this up later in the draft. Bubble Snare, so Thundering Spark Mage is reasonably good in a party deck. Not as good in the Wizards deck, but still good if we manage to pick if one manages to pick a bit of those artifact creatures. Okay, so from this pack we have I'm inclined to pick Journey to Oblivion. This is not the best kind of card. At least it exiles, so it's not like pacifism that leaves the creature on the battlefield. And costing 1 less to cast, so this means that this will typically cost us 4 to cast. It's not bad at all. Reason Riptide is not a great card. It's still good in a kicker deck. Skyclave Squid, it's a playable in blue deck. Balagad Recovery is a very good green card, but right now I'm not really looking towards playing green, I guess. So this is pick 4. We can start trying to assess what kind of strategies should we gear our decks towards. This Kargan Ward Leader is typically good in it's a C+ card, kind of that. So the Warriors archetype is not great, okay, but it's still very playable. And I picked a few white cards in the beginning. Out of this pack is jamming with good warrior cards. So Grotag Bugcatcher, Cliffhaven Kitesell is a playable equipment that works well with a few of the warriors. So I guess I'll pick Kargan War Leader because it's a powerful card and warrior seems to be somewhat open. Now we see a Gnarl Colony, which is a good kicker deck, and it's also good in +1/+1 counters deck, but that's not really a good archetype, I guess. Ardent Electromancer, this works well with the Warriors deck. There's also a Blood Beckoning, which is a good black card if we end up playing clerics. But we're not seeing much clerics. What we're seeing more is red cards and very few black cards. So let's just pick an Ardent Electromancer. I guess Blood Beckoning, that's something that I can pick down the road if we end up playing that deck. Okay, so I guess our path is narrowing down into wizards at this point. Warriors. Cliffhaven Sellsword is a reasonably good card. Well, it's a playable card in the Warriors deck, but Grotag Bugcatcher has quite some potential. We also have a cleric, so we'll probably have a party sub-theme going on, and Grotag Bugcatcher can be huge. Drana Silencer is not good. Damn, I hate this card. It's so overexpensive and it's so easy to disrupt. Again, another one. So for our warriors, there's also the Zim Raptor, which is a playable card. But it doesn't have that much synergy, so it's not a big reason to play it, because it doesn't synergize with the party types. It returns a land from the battlefield to my hand, so it has a potential to return an MDFC to my hand so that I can cast it as a spell, but it's not great. It's a relatively late Seafloor Stalker, I believe. There's another Expedition Champion, I probably can pick it up. There's a Tajuru Blightblade, which is a nice green playable card, because it's also relevant late in the game. The guy is dropping venom on his blade. Damn, he's badass. But at least he wears a mask, I guess, because of COVID. Teeter Peak Ambusher, it's not huge, but it's still playable. Dauntless Unity, so I didn't talk a lot about this card, but it really requires you to go wide with it, because all your creatures, for 2 mana, all your creatures get +2/+1, and if it was kicked, so 4 mana, they get +2/+1 instead. So it really requires you to go wide. Out of this pack, Practice Tactics is good card. Is a good card on when I'm being the beatdown. When I'm the beatdown, when I'm being aggressive. Kabira's Outrider is also a good card, but I want to start picking up my removal, I guess. I'm really not sure about this pick. I guess I won't play any of these, so I'll pick a Skyclave Sentinel just in case. Fisher Wizard, I might play it. Hakum Hellhound doesn't have any synergies with our deck, and it's only valuable in the early turns. It doesn't do much later. Pressure Point, sure. No. Okay, what do we open now? Feed the Swarm is a nice removal for black, but we saw no good black late pack 1. Thundering Spark Mage. Thundering Spark Mage is a good card. Demon's Disciple, again, no, not interested in black cards. Nayri's Binding. Nayri's Binding. I guess Thundering Spark Mage is the card to pick. Malakir Blood Priest is also a good party card, or even Cleric's card if I was to play those colors. Angel Art Protector in white. Nayri's Binding is nice removal. It's nice removal. So I'm a bit undecided between these two. I guess Thundering Spark Mage, because it's a body paired with a removal spell. Target creature or planeswalker. Oh, Goma Fada Vanguard. This is a very good card and I'm happy to see being passed to us. Merfolk Falconeer is also good. So for 5 mana you get a 4/4 flyer and you'll scry a few times. So those are nice stats to play. Bubble Snare also good, but we're not really playing blue right now. Kabira's Outrider, if these wheels it's awesome. So this is pick 2, so pick 10. Let's see if pick 10 this Kabira Outrider is still there. Stonework Packbeast, I would gladly pick more of these cards, because they count for all party types, and the thing that is very good at they help a lot when your party deck has a party sub theme. Okay, that it's huge. It's huge. I won't have that many instant sorceries or wizards in this deck, I guess. So Angel Art Protector can can get one of my creatures to attack easily, but it's not a great card. How many clerics do I have? Only one. 3 wizards, 6 warriors. There's also a warrior here, so if I get it kicked, it gains haste. It's a nice card, I guess. I'm not really happy about any of these picks. Okay, out of this pack, we have Spikefield Hazard, which is likely the pick here. So it's a land. It's not a great spell, but it can get one creature out of the way. This Skyclave Shadowcat, I'm not doing +1/+1 counters really, but I can sacrifice creatures to put +1/+1 counter on it. Whenever a creature you control with +1/+1 counter on it dies, draw a card. There's not really that much support to play this. There's also this Synchronized Spellcraft, but it's a very expensive removal. I want cheaper removal, I guess. There's also this Relic Axe, which might be a good pick, but not really for what we're trying to do. So this pack, it doesn't have a lot for us. Spitfire Lagak, Expedition Healer. As long as you control another cleric, I won't have that many clerics. I will play lands, but I guess this Expedition Healer will go to the sideboard, and that's it. No real reason. Okay. Now we're seeing an interesting card. This Relic Robber, if we manage to give it unblockable or flying with the artifact or something like that, it's a great card. The opponent starts accumulating these goblin constructs, these artifacts, and they start taking multiple automatically get a lot of damage on their turn. So a lot of white cards, that's good, I guess. Canyon Jerboa is a nice support card for this deck, but I'm not sure if I should pick it over Practice Tactics. Twice the number of creatures in your party. We're doing somewhat party quite well, so I guess I'll pick Practice Tactics. I'm happy on picking it. I'm not seeing Royal Eruptions reaching my side of the table. This is pick 8. I don't think I'll pick a third Practice Tactics. Instead, I'll prioritize the 2 drops. I want to have a lot of those to focus on aggression, right? Scavenging Blade. Should I pick the Cleric or the Scavenged Blade? This Roiling Vortex, so this is pick 9, this is what wield. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no... this is a constructed or not even that. I'll probably pick a Scavenged Blade just in case I get good synergies with it, good equipment synergies. Kabir Outrider, I'm happy on seeing that wheeling. So we found our place in the draft quite well. The Scorch Rider, it also wheeled. One thing that I've not been paying close attention is what cards are wheeling, or I am expecting on wheeling. Jesus. Oh, 2 very nice cards for us. This Luminarch Aspirant is really good. It might not be the most game-winning card ever, but it actually wins a lot of cards, and it mandates that if our opponent doesn't have an answer for it, they are doomed. So, other than that, Roost of Drakes is great. This pack is awesome. I would pick all. Shatterskull Minotaur. This won't wheel. I'm sad about that, but of course I cannot have everything out of this pack. Teeter Peak Ambusher. It's not great, but good kicker cards. Jesus. A bomb green card. This is not really splashable because I would want to kick it, and I'm not playing colors that facilitate kicking stuff. So other than that, Halide Assault. Each get plus X is number of creatures in your party. Red cards, Tormenting Voice. I don't want to get into the late game. I want my cards to affect the battlefield. So I guess practice tactics. There was a pump spell in there that I might consider. I'm not really prioritizing pump spells right now. Mind Carver. This is a card for rogues, and even at that it's not great. Now I'm really undecided between Foresight Adept or Sizzling Barrage. Let's see our creature count. 17, 6 spells. Sizzling Barrage is not great, but it's still an efficient removal if I'm the aggressor. Oh, Cliffhaven Kitesail. I want that. I don't mind what I said previously. I know probably I'm valuing too much that card, but I want to have some strong synergies with a few of the cards that I have. Grotech Bugcatcher. If this won't likely wheel. This is pick 4, so I would need to wait 9, 10, 11, 12, pick 12. Damn, that's way too much. That's asking for too much. But this MDFC is great. It's really good. It's a warrior, so everything that our deck wants. 6 mana, 4/5 trample is still good stats. It's not awesome by any means, but it's still good. Out of this pack, we have a Seagate Banneret, which can pump my creatures in the late game, even though I might not want to get into the late game. Sagiri's Shelter gains protection from the color of your choice until the end of the turn. This might be good to protect my creatures, but it's not really affecting the board that much. Sure, let's pick it. I guess I have a ton of warriors already. This is just an artifact. It's not an equipment, and it essentially draws a card, and if I pay 2 and tap, sacrifice, draw an additional card. So it draws 2 cards along 2 different turns. I won't play any of these, right? Let's just pick a Mesalinx just in case we don't get enough playables. So this pack is also not great for us. If I was playing best of 3, this disenchant would be useful indeed. Dauntless Unity. It's the only card among our colors, so I guess I'll pick it. Teeterpeak Ambusher. So this is pick 9. This is what wheeled, and I'm happy to see it. It's not a huge card, but it's still a mana sink. Still a mana sink that grows. Halide Assault, sure. So these cards start not really mattering that much. I'll just pick the rare. I don't care. Sizzling Barrage. Sure, Foresight Adept. Let's just give it the chance of being played, because I'm the aggressor, and that's a way of breaking the it's not the mirror. What am I trying to say? So this affects both players. So a way to break that is to be able to be, if I'm the aggressor, if I have a faster game than my opponent, I'm more likely to be able to to overpower them. Okay, so let us actually see our deck composition. We have 3 clerics, 1 rogue, just 1 rogue. And we didn't get one of those 1 mana rogues that make 1 creature with power 2 or less unblockable. That would be cool with our goblin rare. 12 warriors, 4 wizards. 4 wizards, 3 clerics, and we don't have any of those pack beasts. Okay. 7 on creatures, 20 creatures. We need to remove a few creatures from here. I guess Shepherd of Heroes, it's a nice way to close out the game. It's not really doing what our deck wants, so we'll need to see if we really want to play it. This wizard, it's good because it's eating for at least 2 damage typically, because I have mostly warriors, so when it gets into the battlefield, it's a wizard, it counts itself. Carbon War Leader, I'll play it for sure, so let's just push. Let's actually first, even before that, try to assess our mana base, what we want to be playing. Okay, with a deck like this, I'll play 18 lands. Even counting the Akum Warrior as a land, should I not? So this so with it I count 19 land. Okay, I guess like this it's fine. I'm good if I play this as a land, right? So 8, 7, 6, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 cards, 18 lands. Maybe I will play an additional one. Let's see what are our what things can I cut. This journey into Oblivion, I actually don't know exactly how it ended up here, but it's a bit on the expensive side, so I might not play it. This Scorch Rider is not great. It's not the best thing in the world at all. This helps us double spell on turn 3, because it's a wizard, it counts itself again. These wizards are really good in a warrior's deck. Farsight Adept, Angel Art Protector, it's a cleric, so I might play it. So how many 2-drops? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fisher Wizard is not awesome. Gamma Feather Vanguard is great. Cliffhaven Sellsword 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll probably play 1 or 2 additional 1-drops and that's it. 1 or 2. I just have 1 to choose from. Practice Tactics. So in terms of removal, this can help me removing some creatures from the battlefield. Practice Tactics, I'll try playing the 3, I guess. But for that I need some diversity in my party composition. Otherwise it will do 2 damage most of the times. So jump in there, I want to play those as much as possible. I guess I need to, between clerics and rogues, clerics 3 and wizards 4. So I'll drop these Farsight Adept. And I'm at 41. Journey to Oblivion, as we were saying, this is quite expensive for what our deck is trying to do. So I guess I'll remove it and we'll reassess. So this Shepherd is good. It's really good. Scorch Rider is a 4 mana card. I already have a Kabira's Outrider, Thundering Spark Mage. If I have the Kargan War Leader, this is better. I already have these Tether Peak ambushers for me to dump mana into, so this is important if we get into the late game. I guess I'll drop this and get an additional land in here, because this I want to play as a creature more often than not. So let's actually drop all of these and pick just nice lands, and that's it. Okay, so 11, 13, so 1, 2, one of each essentially, so I can play one more. If I want to play 18, okay, 8, sure. Okay, so this is our deck. Let us see it again, just for fun. Wait. Okay, this is it. Cool. Okay, that is done. That is done. So we're ready to start playing, but before that, let us stop for a quick break and get back and get into the games, okay? And we're back. So all things set for us to start the games. Let us do it. Now, do I remove this? No, not like this. Not like this. Come on. Okay. Remove the FPS from there. So, first game. Opponent goes first. That's not really good for us, but I guess this hand is quite keepable. We have 2 turn 3 plays. I'll hold to my Spikefield Hazard. We have enough lands, and I might use the Spikefield Hazard at the end of their turn to kill something. It resolves, opponent. Be my guest. Be my guest. Sure. Okay, practice tactics, so same thing as last turn. Okay, they do nothing. I do nothing as well. So, now it's third turn. I'll play this first, because then I can either... if I have a warrior, it doesn't get... as long as you control another warrior, so it gets +2/+2. Elsa. Okay. So now if I play this, I can attack, but that does nothing. Unless I also play the Spikefield Hazard. Right? Or practice tactics. If I play this and practice tactics I can attack. Oh yeah, and I'm the beatdown, so let's do it. Let's do it. So I need to play these things before I attack, because once this gets indestructible. I'll attack. They will block, most likely. I should have likely played the Spikefield Hazard, right? Because it's only 1 damage missing. Now I need to waste a practice tactics on them. That might have been a punt. Attacking or blocking creature, so I need to do it right now. For 4 damage. Will they protect? Somehow, like the shell shield? Or a negate, sure. That is fine. So this is an issue. We have a lot of 2 mana spells. I should have probably done something. So now we can play an additional Expedition Healer, attack with both, and have practice tactics up if needed. Or even Spikefield Hazard. Or even both. Or I forgot that I could not attack with this creature. No problem. Next turn, we can prepare something good. They are all tapped out, so I'll attack either way. If they let it go through, that's fine. Either way, I was threatening a trade, not really anything else. So they didn't want the trade, of course. It's fine. But otherwise, these creatures aren't these spells aren't doing anything in my hand. But next turn I can attack for a bunch. Let's see how it goes. Have both open. Let's see what our deck gives us. Okay, they ship the turn. Should I Fisher Wizard before? Yes, I should. I can discard the planes and get more information. So this is this follows that heuristic about gathering as much information as you can before attacking, and the other way around. And target creature an opponent controls with power less or equal to number of warriors can't block. Okay, when it attacks, so I can play that after combat. They have tricks, for almost for sure. 3 cards in hand. They're not doing anything really. I find that suspicious. Highly suspicious. So what you gonna do, opponent? Okay, full control. No. I will likely practice tactics, the Umara Wizard. They will have a cancel or something, right? But I need to do it. I want my autopay. I need to force them to do something. Hey there, sorry for that. I don't know exactly what happened, but I guess Twitch is not really happy for me. So let's attack with all. I don't know what happened. My stream just went down. When I noticed, I wasn't sending any data. So it's really weird. I guess they're sort of dead. Unless they have a Royal Eruption or something in hand, which they might, but nothing I can do against that. Okay, and they will scoop the game. Good game indeed. Good game, opponent. Their mono red deck. Okay, we're doing fine. I actually thought I was gonna lose that game. Damn. claim all the prizes. All the prizes. 2 wins, 0 losses. Oi, Jesus. We're doing quite well. Oh, Elsa. Okay, for lands. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Let us keep. Let us keep. I don't know exactly what to start with. Yeah, I will start with a Grotech Bugcatcher, so the... At least I'm going first. Okay, I need more red than red mana than white mana. Another land. Damn. At least the Fisher Wizard will get something out of the way. So I need to do damage as early as possible, right? So Grotech Bugcatcher it is. They have something that costs 1 mana. Okay, can't do anything about that. So I'll just play this. Next turn I can attack profitable with this guy. So that's the play. No attacks. No need. That wouldn't accomplish nothing other than my creature getting tapped for 2 turns. For my next turn, I guess. Practice tactics. So if I play the Fisher Wizard, I can practice tactics their guy away. That might be worth it. I can also Thundering Spark Mage them for 2, but that wouldn't be that good. I would still need to attack and all of that. But I can still attack, Thundering Spark Mage, and that's it, right? Yeah, I can do that. Or I can attack with more if I use Practice Tactics. Okay, let's do that. It's slightly less efficient in terms of mana, but I like it. Oh, it's actually, it would be much better the other approach. Why? Because now I need damn, and I yeah. Sure. So I should have used Thundering Spark Mage instead of doing all that crazy stuff, because my creature will be locked down for 2 turns either way. The issue here was that I should have tapped 1 mana off each, and it didn't do that. Oh, auto-tapper. Screw you. So depending how they block... Oh, actually, okay. This gets plus... Yes. I'm being a bit stupid. Attacking or blocking. Okay. Sure. Get in there. Auto-tapper screwed me. I screwed myself because I should have likely attacked, then Thundering Spark Mage their guy away. But actually, this was better. I was offering... they would need to chump block my creatures. That wouldn't be good for them. That wouldn't be that good. Come on, opponent. Of course you don't want to attack. Okay. Destroy. Let's destroy. Okay. Next turn. So I can play this. I cannot play this and this. I want to be able to do stuff. So this turn. I think I'll attack with both and Thundering Spark Mage. Because the turn after that I can probably double spell. This is a bit of a waste of spell, to be honest, because this has 1 toughness and that's not really good. That's not really that good. But at least I saved my creature. This way I can Relic Robber. At least I got that out of their end. This wasn't probably the best play. I could have just attacked with Gorotag Bugcatcher. But this way, this creature went through the whole way. So now I can Thundering Spark Mage because this is a rogue. I can try to remove their creature from the battlefield. If they let me. They have let me. Okay. Now they are pretty much dead. Unless they have that board sweeper, that black board sweeper that we had, pack 1, pick 1. We're doing party. Okay. That's cool. Now, Goma Feather Vanguard, I will only have 2 creatures. It was a shame not having practice tactics available this turn. It was a shame. So I can play all the cards that I have. So if I kite sail one of my creatures, I cannot do really much. I'm fine having this Nimble Trap Finder here because I can make it unblockable with this Goma Feather Vanguard. Or not able to block, that's what I mean. So next. I don't want full control, man. Attackers, yes. Just 1. This is the issue with this kind of removal. At least this has trample. 3 or less. I cannot pump it really. Resolve. Let it resolve. That's shame. That's a shame, opponent. Let's just do this. And not equip. Practice tech. This costs us 2 to equip. So we can do that next turn. The issue is I only have a warrior on the battlefield. So I cannot really make their Nimble Trap Finder unblockable. Not able to block. Okay, damn. Come on, opponent. What you're thinking about doing. Let us pass. Okay. I should just push for it, right? This way I establish a 2-turn clock on them. Unless they draw something useful, they're doomed. Now I deal them 2 damage and I kill both creatures, if they let me. And I give one of mine flyer. Flying. Flying. That's the adjective. Yeah, sure. Now I have a flyer. Let's see if they have juice in their hand. Something they can do. I hope it's all lands. But of course, it's not. But I have a flyer. And another flyer. So I'll attack. Gain some life. And now I have 2 flyers. And now they scoop. Please scoop, opponent. You know you want to. Good game, man. Good game. I'm facing nice opponents today. It's weird. Where were these nice opponents in my past streams? Damn. I have a thesis that people who draft are nicer. They're always saying good game. They're nice. They're nice people. I don't know why, but I get that feeling. Okay, 3 wins, 3-0 right now. It's not going bad, I would say. Our aggressive deck. It's just a bit too hard to close these games. And bear in mind, our removal stuff is really prone to be disrupted by our opponent's removal spells. The practice tactics, for example, it's really hard to outcompete it. Oh, damn, I love this hand. Sure. I will need land, so I'll play this Spikefield Hazard as a land. It's just 1 damage, so I guess this is the best thing I can do. This, on the other hand, I hope to play it for 6 mana. 4/5 Trampler? Yes, please. Yes, please. Sure. Okay. So 1, 2. Now I have a 3/1 flyer. That I wanted to be attacking with a 3/1 flyer right now, but I cannot. This has lifelink, which is a bad thing, but I can remove it. That's cool. Let's attack. Play a land. And ship the turn. I can practice tactics it in their turn if they attack. Oh, Anissa. It has landfall. Comes a 3/3. I want to remove this. 2 damage. Okay. Now I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. 5 mana is still not enough to play my Akum Warrior. Oh, so I will try to take Nissa down as soon as possible. Yes, and I need a land, of course. And the turn. And the turn. So next turn, Nissa is down. Dreadworm. That's big. Yep, it has manas. So now can attack with this Nissa. Oh, yeah. That's 4 now. It's almost dead. Almost dead. I need to do something to this Dreadworm. I need to practice tactics or something. Have a single creature type on the battlefield, so a practice tactics is not enough. It has indestructible now. But if they attack, you are kind of doomed. That's a big flyer. I don't like that. And it has indestructible because of the landfall. Guess I need to let it through. I'm not liking a lot our chances right now, to be honest. So this will be a 5/6. That way I can attack with both the Nissa, right? This creature will be eaten up by their Skyclave Sentinel, right? Yeah, let's just do this. I need to preserve my board. Yeah, I suspected that they wouldn't block. Let's lower a bit the music. Otherwise... Okay. 5/4, 4/5. I need to shump block now, right? Yes, this is the least valuable creature that I have. And I'll let 4 go through. Sure, I guess. Damn. Okay. First loss. I could have prevented that, but I was hoping on... Come on, view battlefield. I was hoping on switching my Cliffhaven Kitesail to my Akum Warrior and be able to block. But damn, they had a very strong start. Christ. That was hard. Okay. No problem. We're still in a winning position. Let's go for another game. Right clicker over on the card, whatever. So after this draft, let me just check, what time is it? 7. Depending on how longer it goes, we might either do an in-depth review of how it went or do another one. Okay, Kargan War Leader, 2/3 drops. Shepherd of Heroes. I cannot really mulligan this. I hope to draw a 2-drop on my second turn. I hope to. Please do. Please, Lord of Statistics and Probabilities. That's not a 2-drop. That's a shame. So I can, like, Expedition Champion, Kargan War Leader, and attack. They seem to be playing a landfall deck. Have a Gamma Feather Vanguard. Okay. So, Expedition Champion it is. This way I can attack for 5, which is a lot. They will need to either shump block or trade 2 creatures for it. Are you really doing? Okay, yeah. because I cannot block. Cannot block. Thundering Spark Mage will be awesome. But I prefer to take the opportunity, since they are virtually tapped out, to threaten to attack for 5. This way, I still have Thundering Spark Mage available next turn. Now they practically need to get into defensive mode. Otherwise, taking 5 per turn, it's way too much. Way more than they can deal. They can deal 4 as of now. Oh, that's not a good card. That's not a good card. Okay, now they are doomed. I'll Thundering Spark Mage their Goma Fada Vanguard, which is the strongest creature they have. And that's game. That's almost game. This way they can double block, they can do whatever, they can't do much. They're at 7 now, unless they have good stuff in their end, which they might, like this. Oh, you want to attack with that? I don't care about... Come on. That's only 5 damage. I'm really tempted on playing this. Yeah, and I should. I'm not dead on the swing back at all. Come on. Do your math, opponent. Do your math. Don't skip math, kids. Don't skip math. It's really important for your Magic future. That two card combo was huge. Okay, whatever. Whatever. 4 wins, 1 loss. It's not going that bad. To be honest, I haven't been that lucky in Zendikar Rising. I haven't played that much the set with starting streaming and all of that. It's that took a bit of the time from actually playing the game. At least the setup. Now it's full throttle ahead, but I haven't been that lucky with the set. It's also harder than the core set 2021, right? The core set 21. You go first. This is a bad hand if I don't draw additional cards. I'm going first. Should I mulligan this? I can try to filter for lands with Fisher Wizard. Let us keep this, I guess. I also have a practice tactics. Let us see. If I draw a land, I'm happy. If not, I'm not as happy. Luminarch Aspirant can win us some time, actually. Let us play it before combat. It's very important. This way it gets a counter, and it gets another counter, and another counter, and it will become huge, unless they play a Royal Eruption. No Royal Eruption. So this turn, yes, a land. Yes, a land. So no need on rushing things. I will have 3 mana available. This will be a 3/3 when attacking. I'll be able to play the Teeter Peak Ambusher. I want to offer this. If they want to shump, I'm happy for it. Of course they don't. So 3 mana. I guess I'll play this and leave practice tactics open. Just in case. Next turn I can put the counter on the Teeter Peak Ambusher, probably. That way I can attack and threaten... Okay, or I draw a land. And if I draw land, the Kabir Outrider is awesome. Or I can Thundering Spark Mage their creature. No, I don't want that. I don't really want to remove this creature. I want to force them to shump block. That's much better for me. That saves me a Thundering Spark Mage, a Practice Tactics, and all of that. This way I can attack with both profitably. I want to get it out of Royal Eruption range, so I will put it on itself. This way it's harder to remove. Since they haven't yet played the Royal Eruption, I'm happy for playing like this. Come on, you want to shump. You want to. And then they play a pump spell that kills my creature. Bam! Why did I said that out loud? Okay, I cannot really kill it with the Practice Tactics. Oh, at least it didn't kill my creature. Oof. If I pay 3, it's a 3, 4 if with a pump. So I have 4 mana. If they block this turn, I can remove it with Practice Tactics, right? Yes. If I play this on my Kabir's Outrider, target a creature you control. It's time to spread my threats, right? This is a nice threat. This way I can attack with all. And if they double block, my Practice Tactics can take care of one of their creatures very easily. Okay. Practice Tactics. That way I get it out of the way. Thanks. It's way too fast on changing to nice. Oh, that's a good card. That's a good card. I can't do much against it. It has that touch. I guess I'm happier on trading this. I'll just attack with it. I don't want to have my Luminarch Aspirant killed. There's no need for it. Next turn I can most likely next I was almost not about not to play this mountain, but I guess if I draw land I can use it with my Fisher Wizard. Good game, man. Good game. Man or woman? I don't know who is on the other side. Actually, there's a Chandra, so I will always reply with good game. With this board state, I'm assuming they will lose. Okay. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Cool stuff indeed. So we're at 5 wins. 5 wins, 1 loss. I'm liking a lot this deck. So just give me 30 seconds break, and we'll get back to the games, okay? And we're back. We're back for the Warriors party. Okay, I don't really want notifications. Okay. 5 games, 6 games, 5 wins. Let's try to get us closer to the 7 wins. That's the goal. That's the goal. Okay, this is a nice hand. This Ardent Electromancer might enable us to double spell on turn 3 somehow. I will still play Grotag Bugcatcher on turn 2. So I have less of these. My cat, she's... Oh, where's the webcam? The webcam is working, right? Yeah. So there's my cat. Again, enjoying the eat. Coming out of my computer. Why? Because Arena is very taxing on your machine. Okay, Grotag. El Diabeto. So the evil or something. Elsa, you need to leave some room for the fans to do their work, please. Please. That's a Fisher Wizard. So I can attack and threaten practice tactics. If I do that, I can only play a Fisher Wizard. And I cannot really take advantage of Ardent. Yeah, no, that's That's not good. So I will just Ardent Electromancer, get 2 mana up, Fisher Wizard, drop one of the practice tactics, and that's a land. That's shitty. No attacks. No need on attacking when I have another practice tactics in hand. And next turn I can double spell with Expedition Champion and practice tactics on whatever they use to block. They won't take advantage of that. Damn. No need on sharing with them that I did my land drop. So I can kill both of their creatures with mine. Blockers. Do you want to trade? The best thing you can do is trade stuff. I want my practice tactics to protect my Grotag Bugcatcher. So will I accept this trade? I guess so. I have 2 wizards on board, so this is a slight trade down, but I'm getting very, very much aware. Oh, I should have played the mountain before. That way I would leave the plains open and be able to practice tactics on their turn. If they attack. They might try to attack, like... oh. I'm glad I didn't play the practice tactics, see? You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, opponent. Neither do I. That isn't good for any of us. Come on. Okay, think. Good decision, good decision. So I guess I can Cliffhaven Kite Sail my Grotag and protect my Expedition Champion. If they choose to block. Yeah, I'm the attacker now, opponent. I'm the attacker. You're doomed. That's not really great for us. That is true. Should have seen that coming. Should I play this land? No, not really. If I draw another land, I play one of them. If I draw something juicy, I can play the land and play the juicy thing if I need, right? No need on rushing things. That's a Prowling Falidar. It gets counters. I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah, sure. Get in there. No blocks. Okay, now I really want... This will be a nice blocker for their squad commander. So if they want to trade any of their creatures by my Expedition Champion, I'm happy for that. Yes, I'm happy. They can't have much with a single red mana up. Oh, I almost had an heart attack. I thought I wouldn't be able to play my Shepherd. Now they can attack with the Prowling Falidar as much as they want. I don't really care. I have 2 flyers. 2 very good flyers. These will attack for 4. Because I have 3 distinct party types. Now it won't. But... depending on what I draw, I can still raise them. No blocks. Of course, they leave that behind. That's a Cliffhaven Sellsword. It won't pump my Grotag Bug Catcher. So I will just attack with it. So I have them on a 2-turn clock, right? If they kill my Grotag, I can switch the equipment to the Cliffhaven and still have them on a turn 2 clock. They have 6 power right now. They might pump the Prowling Validator, but that's still a 3-turn clock on their side. If I don't block anything, of course. My Fisher Wizard at some point will block, but I want the additional damage in the air from the party type. Come on, opponent, you can do it. Oh, that's an hasty. That's a hasty creature. Five, 5, 10. I get to 8. 8 is still good, I think. Unless they disrupt my plans. And I might not draw anything useful, too. That might be an issue. They have a single card in hand, so we're both in top decking mode, I guess. No, 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 no. Leave my bug catcher alone. This has vigilance. Cool. Cool. So I'll attack for 4 now. No way these attacks are profitable. They will eat 1. No, 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 no. I need all the blockers I can. Okay, almost there. Now I just need to survive. I can do unfavorable trades now. I just cannot. I need like to leave like 2 creatures on my side of the battlefield at least. This is really close. It's relatively close. Right now I'm still the preferred one but to win, but that might change very quickly depending on what they've drawn. For them to be thinking this much, it's never a good sign. These are the moments when I get my plan disrupted. These are those moments. I just hope it doesn't happen. Or they are not one of those. Okay, no, they want to try their luck, right? So I just need to survive. I'll jump this. I'll prevent as much damage as possible. No need to take risks. If they have a Royal Eruption that they're able to kick, I don't really want that. Okay, this way they are dead. Unless they can do something else. If they can... They had the Royal Eruption, see? I have no way out of this game. No way. Damn. See? I told you. Jesus Christ. Opponent. They have so many good cards in their hand. All of their hand was good. Phew. It was so close, man. So close. If I didn't block one of their 1/1s, I might have won. We need to see that later. I'll need to take a look into that later, into the recording, because I might have won if I didn't block one of the other creatures. Jesus. So close, so close, so close. 3 lands, I'll keep. Opponent goes first. That is fine. I'll play... Since I only have 3 lands and I need lands, I'll play this right now. Oy. It was so close, man. So damn close. Okay. That's a card. No real reason to play Fisher Wizard this early. I might use it to filter out lands, but since it's since we're in the early game still, we're still developing, I don't have a very good idea of what is worth to pursue and what isn't. So they seem to be playing some +1/+1 counters stuff deck, I guess. Creature becomes target of a spell. Create a 1/1 insect creature token. Should I trade? No, because my Kargan War Leader will make all my creatures better. So Kargan War Leader. I won't attack. Or will I? I need to push my advantage. So, who cannot block? This guy cannot block. Sure. I need to pick one, right? I guess so. I have a 3/3 for blocking duty. Of course, they have a Thundering Rebuke. That's bad. That's bad. Where are they leaving this one behind? 1 mana, one blue, 1 green mana. Not really sure what they might have. Let's try to incentivize them to block. I want to give them the chance to block. I guess this can trade for a single insect if they want. This card is not that good. It's not that good. It can grow, it seems. I forgot about that, but it's not huge. See? See? I want to play a land and filter out the other land for this. If I play a land, I get 5 mana. With 5 mana, I can play this and be happy. I can still have practice tactics available against them. So let's do that, I guess. So if I attack, one of their creatures is not able to block. So I can make this not able to block. If they want to trade, I will protect my creatures. Now let us just play it cool for this turn. Let's play it cool. Let's gather some information. Okay, that's another land. No good. No attacks for this turn. This turn we'll play it cool. Okay, that's a grower. I don't like growers. But I like Cliffhaven Kite Sails. This way I can attack for 4 in the air. They don't have reach. So I can stall. My plan right now is to stall the lower grounds and attack in the air. And the turn. Okay. That's getting big, but I have a practice tactics 4-4 waiting for you. Unless they can deal with my flying creature. And green has 1 or 2 creatures with reach, so they might still be able to do something. Oh, 2 flying creatures? You have no clue of what's coming, opponent. No clue. So next turn, unless they do something crazy like our previous opponent, they are dead. No need on playing the land. I need a white mana to play the shepherd, so that's it. Sure. Put a +1/+1 counter only on itself? Yes. Will you scoop, opponent? Do you have a way to deal with flying creatures? No, they don't. No, they don't. Guess what? Evasion is still good in 2020. Evasion is still good. Okay. Win or lose, this is our last game. Let's try to win. Let's try to win. I'm still thinking about the other game. I should have just played to prevent the being dead on a Kick the Royal Eruption, I believe. My Kargan War Leader shouldn't have blocked. They might also have a Sizzling Barrage or something like that, so I don't know. I don't know exactly what should I have expected in that situation. So this is a very nice hand to keep. My Grotech Bug Catcher attacking in the air. Yes, please. Yes, please. I also want to pass the turn. Pass the turn. So depending on what they play now, like a Skyclave Squid. This is a land. I might deal 2 damage to them and play my Kargan War Leader. I might also Cliffhaven Kite Sail and attack for 2. I will want this dead, right? So I can just attack. Okay, since they are tapped, I can Sagiri's Shelter. No, I'll practice tactics it. This is less mana efficient, but I don't want to have that squid attacking us every single turn. This way, next turn I can still play my Kargan War Leader and be able to protect it. Yes, and be able to protect it. No, no, not really. Okay, to kill that I need a lot of mana. So I'll just play this. Attack in the air. play our land and chip the turn. So now I'm hoping they don't have a Royal Eruption or anything like that for my Kargan War Leader. They're playing 3 colors, so that's quite a lot. I can kill that with my Thundering Spark Mage. That will leave me open to stuff, but I want my flying creature to get in as much damage as possible. I can actually attack with both now. I don't care if they attack back, but they cannot do anything. So they're already at 8. I don't want to play this as a land. I want to protect my creatures for lethal. Another one. Okay. I can cast this. I can Sigiri's Shelter their creature. So I'll do the same thing and give my creature protection from blue. Oh, this I was thinking this might be a sorcery, and I would be really screwed if that's the case. From blue. Yeah, they're pretty much dead. Next turn I can make one of their creatures not able to block. This was an easy 7th win. Yes! 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 7 wins. We got there. Today we got there. This is the first time this happens on the stream, so that's a nice thing. That's a nice thing. Cool. Let's just take another look at the deck. Let me remove this. And let's take a screenshot, because this is definitely worth it. Rectangular, full window, I guess. Let's just save it. I'll post it on Twitter later. Desktop. Desktop. Yes, desktop, sure. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. So let me get my face out of the way. And let's look at the trailer. So this went pretty good. Teeterpeak Ambusher, yeah. So these guys did something. So I guess them having high toughness can be useful sometimes, but they're not the best warriors out there for sure. Our Luminarch aspirant definitely did stuff. It definitely did stuff. I think we won a game because of her. So let me just look at time. Yeah, so it's already pretty late, so before closing this off, let's do the following. Let's look into Cardboard Live and into the recording. I want to capture that moment. Videos, what's the one from today? So 22, 29, 29. So I guess it's this one. No. Will you open it correctly? Let's remove the sound. No, no. I don't know what's going on with my VLC installation, but I can use this. And to remove the sound. Oh, it's corrupted. You know why? Because... Oh, because I need first to stop the recording. Okay, no worries. Let's look into 17 lands and see how our draft went. 7-2, it immediately gets the right for a star, I guess. Draft, pool, deck. We're really interested in the draft itself. So if you didn't join for the draft, this is a nice chance to take a look into what we did. So out of this pack, there's definitely the Soaring Thought Thief is definitely good. It's an high pick for sure, but I was actually more inclined to pick the Malakir Rebirth, because if Rogues is not open at all, this is a wasted card. And this happened to me a lot. Like my picks I consider my picks 4 to 8, as signals. So if I don't get Rogues during those picks, I'm basically screwed, because I again, out of this pack, I'm actually also passing another reasonably good rogue. At least it's synergistic with the Soaring Thought Thief. So it's highly unlikely that this won't wheel for sure. So, but I would be competing with rogues in this table no matter what. And earlier in the set, it would be more likely for me to be able to force picking rogues, because the rest of the table might not be well adjusted to the meta, and I could take advantage of that. But that's not always the case. So I was thinking about picking a Malakir Rebirth, but then I've chosen to pick a Shepherd of Heroes, because it's a card that is good either in Warriors or in Party Matters deck or wherever. It's just good. And most of your so the white only does Warriors with red, right? Yes. So white is oh no, it also does Clerics. So it's good in Warriors, Clerics. And even if I fall into Warriors, I would do. It's very, very typical to have a party sub theme in your deck. It's highly unlikely that you're just drafting all the Warriors, and because you have all the good Warriors, and that's also applicable to other decks. Clerics, you can more often maybe than the other archetypes be able to play some few other types, but that's not the case with the other decks. So I guess this card is quite good. So actually, this is also a rogues only card essentially. This is definitely good. I think people could argue that Malakir Rebirth is a higher pick than Shepherd of Heroes, but actually this average pick is higher on or lower in Shepherd of Heroes than Malakir Rebirth. So I guess it's fine. Shadow's Verdict, I guess we could play around this card since it's only converted mana cost 3 or less, but depending on a single card, I prefer my deck to be synergistic with itself. And actually I believe this wheeled the table. So if we go to pick 9, yes, pick 9, none missing, okay, it didn't wheel. So we got the Teeter Pick Ambusher out of this pack, but let's get back to pick 2. Pick 2, Hora. This is a very good payoff for Clerics. At this time, my best chance was Clerics. Clerics is generally speaking a better archetype than Warriors, but this is a good card. What am I passing? I'm passing an Expedition Champion. Sneaking Guide would also be interesting for my deck, and a Teeter Peak Ambusher. So let's see Thundering Spark Mage is also fine. We picked one of those. So let's see. Yeah, no. What? This is pick. Oh, yeah, none missing. So someone picked the Expedition Champion. Were we competing with someone else for Warriors? If we were, I guess they didn't have that much of a good deck. They might be doing Party with Black with a Warrior sub theme or something. That's also valid. Sneaking Guide, that's cool. Let me just see if I can load this spreadsheet. If I can, I'll use it. Okay, pick 3. Journey to Oblivion. By this moment, well, see, clerics go. There's a lot of instances where clerics get into the late game. Okay, and since that's the case, this Journey to Oblivion would be quite good because I would most likely be able to play it. Okay, in a Warriors deck, I actually ended up sideboarding it because I was not hoping to get into the late game that often. I wanted to keep being aggressive. This removes a creature from the battlefield, but I had a bunch of I was playing with 3 how's it called? I guess the deck is here. 3 practice tactics, exactly. I also had a Thundering Spark Mage to be able to remove some of my opponent's creatures. And the Spikefield Hazard, which is not a great piece of removal, but it's still good. It's still good. So that is it, I guess. Then a Kargan War Leader, Wild Kargan War Leader appeared. And yeah, out of this pack, right now I was really, since this is pick 4, this I already consider this as a signal. And red, look at the amount of red that was in this pack. Quite a lot, right? So this is a pretty strong signal that my neighbors at my right are not playing red that much. White, there's also the McKinney Stampede, which is not an awesome spell land card, but it's still quite good. So I picked the best of the bunch. Even though it's a gold card, it would be unlikely to wheel the full table, right? Because this is pack 1. By then, people would be undecided between 2 archetypes, and now this is a strong payoff to be, or reward for being in these 2 colors. Let us see. I think this is pick 12. Exactly. So someone picked the Grotag, of course. The Cliffhaven Kite Sail too. Yeah, people pick the good cards. So, but this Fisher Wizard did some work for us. It helped us filter through lands and stuff like that. So it did some work. Ardent Electromancer is definitely interesting. I was a bit undecided between this and Blood Beckoning, but I was seeing too much red and too little black. Just this black gold card. So yeah, no chance. So I was using the signals that I was being passed, even though my neighbors to my left were picking red cards. My neighbors to my right were not, at least highly. Yeah, so a bunch of warriors. Let's jump into pack 2. Pack 2, so Rolling Vortex. Actually, one of our opponents played this. This deals 1 damage to each opponent in their upkeeps. So this only helped me. I was being aggressive. But I think I lost that game. Did I lose that game? I think that's the second game I lost. So it did some work, but it's not a high pick at all. definitely not. The second paragraph doesn't matter. The third one might matter against clerics, but that's way too narrow. This is at most a sideboard card, and I wouldn't pick it as first pick of a pack. There's a good bubble snare here, but we were far from playing blue. I think we've drafted this deck quite well. Was this Nahiri's Binding still open in pick 9? Nope, of course not. I wasn't expecting it to, but it might. Scavenged Blade, just in case we got nice synergies with the equipments, and a Roiling Vortex. So let's just look into 2 additional picks from this pack. So yeah, there are some interesting warrior cards here, at least Kabira Outrider. I guess we actually picked it. Stonework Backpiece is also an interesting card. Unfortunately, I didn't pick any of it. I would gladly play at least one instance of it. Merfolk Falconeer, another blue card. Again, this is now coming from our left. I guess that my neighbors to my left, to my right, were drafting blue for sure. So my neighbors to my left were not drafting blue, right? So that's why we see some nice blue cards. Even though this is only pick 2, so whatever. That means what it means. Angel Art Protector. This Rock Slide Sorcerer is great. Is very, very good. But I wouldn't be playing that many instants or sorceries. I wanted to have like 7 non-creature spells. And for those 7 non-creature spells, at this time, I had the Journey to Oblivion, which I wouldn't likely play. Yeah, and that's mostly it. And I handed up the draft with not that many. So Cliffhaven Kite Sail. Yeah, so not that many ways to be paid from playing this card, and it's a 4-mana spell. The 4-mana spell in this deck needs to do stuff. This Thundering Spark Mage is doing stuff because it's removing the small creatures from my opponent's side so that I can keep on pressuring them. But that's essentially it. Yeah, just one more. Spikefield Hazard, nice MDFC. It's not huge in any way. There's a Relic Axe, which I could have picked. It's also an equipment. I'm not really much into this equipment. Like, if it was 1 mana to cast and equip, and 2 mana to re-equip, that would be good. That would be very, very good. Because it's a +2/+1, like in your turn and in a creature that doesn't have Summoning Sickness. It's still a close call. I guess I could have picked the Relic Axe, but I'm happy on picking the Spikefield Hazard, I guess. Synchronized Spellcraft is very expensive, so let's jump into pack 3. And don't worry if you follow me on Twitter. I'll be posting the link for this draft so that you can analyze to get paired with the screenshot of the draft of the final deck, I guess. Luminarch Aspirant, really good card. I got to know that this card is one of it's from an article on Channel Fireball Pro. So I'm a subscriber, and it's a very good resource. I would really like to review some of the articles that are in there, but again, it's behind a paywall, and they're doing a nice job on that. I don't want to. I want to incentivize that kind of behavior from the community. So of course I won't be reviewing those unless they at some point either authorize me or like an agreement of just 1 out of 3 articles can be reviewed in your stream or something like that. But that's for down the road. There's plenty of very good free articles out there that we will be reviewing in next instances. Luminarch Aspirant, definitely the pick. this pack was packed. Shatterskull Minotaur, Roost of Drakes, it's huge in blue, as well as the Zimroyal Mage. I wouldn't like to be I would definitely like to be the player picking drafting kicker and picking out of this pack, but passing at the Zimroyal Mage, it's really bad. But you're picking a Roost. The Roost is on fire. Inscription of Abundance. This is great. A player played this preemptively on their turn. The thing about this card is all of its effects are good. They improve each other. So the 2+1/+1/+1 counters improve all the other effects, and it's relatively cheap to kick. Okay, you pay 5 mana turn 5. What's that? It's you'll be reaching the turn 5 more often than not. You just need to ensure that you have 2 forests, so it's not really a splashable card. But kicking this is huge. Of course, casting it for its cost for one of the effects, it's not that great. It's still reasonably good. I guess you fighting some target creature, it might be worth it on a later turn to clean out the board from your opponent, but still, it's a nice card. For example, Rabbit Bite. Why this is 2 mana? Fight. This is 2 mana, bite. So your creature doesn't take damage with a Rabbit Bite. So this is strictly worse, but it's a versatile card because you pick one of the modes. It's a card in which the effects are synergistic, they improve themselves. So this is altogether a very, very good Magic card. Stonework Pact Beast, I might have picked that instead of Practice Tactics, to be honest. Into the Royal, also good, but Inscription of Abundance is huge. I guess if my neighbor to my left, to my right, either the one directly or the one after, they are probably playing kicker. So yeah, Jesus, what a sweet pack for them. And then a Cliffhaven Kite Sail, pick 3. But what should I play out of this pack? This is one of the few equipments that I'm likely to play one of them, even if I don't have equipment synergies, because it enables me to ensure that I keep on pressuring my opponent and ensuring that they are on the back foot. For example, in one of our last games, if not the last, this enabled me to keep on to keep a defensive position on the ground and keep on doing 4 damage or 3 damage per turn in the air. So I'm pressuring them, then they can't do anything. So great card altogether. And that's an Akum Warrior. So another great card, another Ardent Electromancer, but our deck is falling into shape. This is still much better than anything else in the pack, I guess. Even looking into other colors, Rabbit Bite it's good because it's virtually the only removal spell at common in green. Okay, and it's conditional, which is an issue. Okay, so this was a fun draft. This was definitely a fun draft. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot. Don't forget to, before leaving, subscribe, or not subscribe. I'm not even a partner, or I don't care. What I would definitely like you to do is to have you around on future streams for us to learn together, for us to discuss strategy. And if you like how these streams are structured, yeah, just make sure to follow me on Twitch, and also on Instagram and Twitter. I post their stuff relatively often, not only related to Magic, but related to other stuff that I like. So you can find me there via my name, Diogo Japinto. You can also find the links for that on my About page on Twitch. And yeah, just reach me out with anything that you want to discuss, including suggestions for future articles to be reviewed. So before I leave, let me just paste again the link for the article, and that's all for today. Thank you for joining. See you around. Bye.